Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucia and this is Lulu's Leaves. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a really exciting project of mine. I received a beautiful grow tent from Mars Hydro, and you guys know that I rave about their lighting. It's absolutely the most fantastic grow light that I've ever tried, and I am not just saying this because they sent me these products. They're not paying me anything to say this. I can have my own opinion, and my own opinion is that I absolutely love these lights. The one thing that I'm really excited about now is the fact that I have somewhere to hang those lights. Before, I was using the TS1000 on top of a fish tank and had my Hoyas sitting below that. But just the way that my apartment works and the fact that we're not able to put any holes in the walls or ceilings, I'm not able to hang this light the way that I want to. So I'm really grateful to now have the grow tent that I can hang the lights in. So I'm going to show you that grow tent, and I'm also going to give you guys an in-depth tour of what I've put in there. I'm really excited to show you guys. I've been wanting a greenhouse for a really long time now, so I'm really excited to finally have something that's going to speed up the growth of my plants and make them a little bit happier. I don't have all of the tools that I need to make it the perfect tent yet, but I will talk about that in the tour. Anyways guys, before we get into this video, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that button down below. It helps me out so much. And if you enjoy this video today, you can also leave a thumbs up. It really does help out this video and as well my channel. You're also welcome to go that extra step and click the join button for as little as $1.99 per month to gain access to some extra perks. With that being said though guys, let's get straight on into this tour of my greenhouse. If you guys couldn't already tell, I am upstairs. The grow tent is in my loft area because I really do not have the room downstairs. My plant room is blowing up and I do not want to take over part of my boyfriend's side of the room because that would be rude. So I have my grow tent right in front of a window, unfortunately, because that's kind of the only place it can go. If you guys can see here, we have like these kind of vaulted ceilings. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's on a slant, so we don't have full height throughout the whole upstairs. I'm kind of limited to the center of the structure where it's the tallest. And unfortunately, that means putting it in front of windows because both of the ends of the room in the center have windows. So what are you gonna do? All right guys, so for right now, sorry this is backlit. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't know if I've changed anything, but we'll get into this tent pretty quick here. So I have it here. I have some boxes beside it that just have some leca and soil in it, but I have the tent door open, or the window that lets some air through, because I currently do not have a fan. I am getting a fan, don't worry, and I have not been running the humidifier without a fan, so no stress. But if you put the cover on this window, you get absolutely no light leak from this tent, which is super awesome. You can kind of see the material here. It's a beautiful material. It's very heavy duty, and when I was putting it together, I had to stretch it quite a bit, and it did not rip at all. It was really strong, and I was not worried at any time that it was going to. By the way, this wire is coming from my grow light. They have these like convenient pockets for that exact reason. So I really do love all of the extra features that go into this tent that make it kind of as special as it is. The zipper here is also really heavy duty, which is nice because zippers, if they're not good quality and they're being used often, which this one will be, they can break really, really quickly and make for a really exhausting task. All right, so I partially opened this already, but here is the tent. I have everything on the floor. I'm gonna turn the light up for the purpose of this video because I don't have my ring light up here, but I've been keeping it at about 25% of its capacity, I guess. So we'll put it up to 50% just for the purpose of this video. But you can see the temperature. It is a little bit chilly up here, but it doesn't feel cold, so I'm not worried. But 65% is actually really, really good for this tent with no humidifier and with the doors being open. So who knows, I might not even have to ever run this humidifier. It might just be there for looks. I'll probably take it out to make more room for something else, but that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. That's with the mesh pieces open, so that's pretty impressive. So I don't know if this light was actually meant for this specific greenhouse because this is the smallest version, and this light is a little bit more heavy duty than the smallest version. But I have it kind of a jerry-rigged up here. There are some knots tied so that this is flat and straight, but I'm definitely not mad at the way it turned out. I think it looks pretty good. So coming down here to the actual plants, I'll show you guys every plant one by one, tell you why I decided to put each of them in here versus other plants. I will tell you off the bat, a lot of the reason that I put these plants in here and not others is because I really would be sad not to see some of my other plants in my plant room. So even though some of them would benefit from being in here, I'm keeping them selfishly in my plant room. All right, so yes, here is a little overview. You can see I have some cuttings and some full plants as well, but the majority of the plants that I have in this tent do need some extra help rooting. So that is the biggest factor I considered when choosing which plants would come in here. So if they needed extra time to root, I put them in here. A lot of these guys were also in a prop box, but I have since moved it into here because I would much rather have them in a grow tent than a prop box that's getting not sufficient light. So let's start off with some of the first cuttings. A lot of these guys need to be watered, but this is a Cebu Blue cutting. I took a lot of cuttings from my Cebu Blue plant here. This is my mother plant. It's doing well. I just put it in moss to grow some extra roots. It was in leca for a while, but it was very stagnant in leca. I don't think this one was super happy compared to the other plants that I do have in leca. But I have this cutting, and I have this cutting. These are actually two separate cuttings, and then this is a separate one as well. And yes, they're just in moss in these oh shit. So I'm already making a mess, but they are just in moss in these breathable pots so that they have the best chance of rooting. And I don't find that, especially in the prop box, that these dry out too quickly. But if you were to keep this out in the open, this would probably dry out way too quickly. So if you're gonna have cuttings in moss outside of a tent or prop box situation, I would suggest not using such an airy pot. So yeah, I have my 3 Cebu Blue plants here, the mother plant and 2 cuttings, or 3 cuttings, I guess. And then we have this guy. This is my Hoya Imbracata. This guy has been in here for quite some time now, or not in this tent, but it's been in moss, and I haven't had it out in the open since I got it. If you guys saw the video from a long time ago, this plant it had 3 leaves. So 2 of those died off, or I killed them, I can't remember. But at least I have this guy still. So I'm pretty happy. It's at least rooted, and I've stuffed it with some moss as well to create some roots on the inside. But I'm really hoping that it does push out some new growth at some point. I'm not so picky about when it does. I just want something to happen eventually. But for now, it's just a taco with some sphagnum moss around it. And I guess I'm just gonna have to be okay with that. So yeah. Then I have this beautiful verrucosum that was just a stump. It was just a stick, and I got this from Plant Haven Toronto. I absolutely love the owners of Plant Haven Toronto. Autumn is such an awesome person, and so is James. They're like a power couple running their own business, and I love supporting them. But they were so sweet to gift me this, and it is growing a new leaf, which is super exciting. This was the first leaf that it put out, and it's a decent size actually, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed with the fact that this just shot out of the stem, or the petiole. So happy with that. It is rooting very, very nicely. So eventually, once it puts on a few more leaves, I'll probably move it to some soil. But for now, it will stay in its moss in the tent. I'm hoping to do some updates every month for you guys so that you can see the progress of these guys and see how quickly they're growing under the light and with the added humidity. So in here, I have this Gigas Stump. I don't know if it's ever going to be anything. I think that the node that it had is spent. It does look a little bit dried out, so I'm concerned that that's never going to be anything, but that's okay. I didn't spend any money on this. This was also from Plant Haven, from Autumn and James, so thank you again for this little guy. If it does ever become anything, I will let you guys know. And then I also have this either Christmas cactus, one of the above, but it's variegated and it's just rooting in the soil, hopefully. I haven't had any success yet with the other ones. They started to rot, so I'm hopeful that this guy will root in here. I'm not gonna keep it too moist. I'm not gonna water it at all, actually. I'm just gonna keep it in the humidity and hope that something happens with that guy. And this, Lori from Secret Garden gave me this, so that was really, really nice of her. I saw it, I loved it, and she just took a few pieces off her mother plant for me. I guess I'll go through all the stumps first. So this here is the, what's it called? Syngonium Elbow cutting that Plants, Pots, and Whatnots gave me. The leaf was yellowing, so we kind of knew that. We knew that it was going to yellow, but it's now a stump and I'm waiting for it to push out new growth. I have since actually found another Syngonium Elbow, so once this guy grows, I will have another one. I will either add this to my plant or I will just trade this for another cool plant eventually. So we'll see, but I really did appreciate her giving me this because at the time I did not have one and it was a plant that I was really looking forward to having. So the next stump here is actually a Philodendron Ploughmania, and this guy is doing something. I don't know what that is, but it's putting something out. For some reason I thought at one point this had more than one growth point, but it looks just to have the one. But still, this is exciting. I'm hoping to have a really cute Ploughmania second baby sometime soon. My current Ploughmania is holding on to its last leaf, so I'm really happy about that. I almost killed it by putting it in leca. I definitely shocked it, but it didn't lose all the leaves, which I'm very grateful about. So this is what we're left with. We're left with this stump and one leaf plus a new one on the way of my mother plant. So hopeful that this guy will do something cool. It is rooted. Probably not going to be able to see any of the roots, but you can take my word for it. It is rooted, and yeah, I'm excited to watch this one grow up. The next stump is the one that I'm definitely the most excited about. This here is my Philodendron Splendid. I did have this plant. It was 2 beautiful leaves, but it kind of went into shock when I brought it into my house, and it lost both of those leaves. Luckily, I still have this absolutely beautiful plant here. I am so excited about how quickly it's growing. It's also got 3 different shoots. So eventually it's gonna be a freaking giant plant with lots of growth points. So I think I'm better off than I was, or I will be better off in the end. But it's really, really cool. You can see these leaves, and they are really showing their shape and showing their parentage. You can really, really tell what this plant is, in my opinion at least. Usually these seedling leaves don't look anything like they should, but this one does. And the most exciting part is, if you can see, look at that new leaf. It is definitely bigger than the little one here. There's my thumb for a size comparison beside these leaves. But yeah, that new leaf is definitely bigger. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that one come out. And hopefully the stems or the petioles can just put on some size and these leaves can grow in size really quickly. I'm hopeful that in this tent, with this light, they will be able to grow to their full potential and do it quite quickly. So I'm really, really, really excited to see the growth on this one in this tent. All right, so that is it for the stumps. We'll move on to another cutting that I have here. This here is a Monstera Peru cutting. This leaf here is yellowing, unfortunately, but it does have new growth. Well, these guys are notorious for being very slow growers, so I am not shocked that this is not doing the best. I am hopeful that it does put out some roots, or it starts rooting so that it can absorb some of that water and nutrients and stuff. So we will see about this one. If it doesn't make it, I'm not going to be heartbroken. If you watched one of my other videos, plants I regret, I do regret buying the Peru. It's definitely not my favorite plant, but I am grateful to have it, and I'm excited to propagate it. Hopefully it grows some roots so I can share it with some friends. So next up, we talked about this in one of my most recent videos. This is my Philodendron Florida Ghost. It needs to root a little bit more before it goes back into soil, and it is going to root best in a tent with higher humidity. So I am keeping it in here until it does show some roots around the edge of this pot. That is really why I like using these clear pots, so that you can see the progress of the rooting process. This plant definitely did have some smaller roots, but I'm not concerned at all. There's one big juicy root on the way, so it'll be just fine, but I do have to wait a little bit of time to get this one back into soil and back into my plant room. Then back here, we have my Philodendron Silver Sword. This one, I don't know why I put it in here. It actually has some decent roots and it's doing okay. So I guess I really am just putting it in here to test out the growth. I heard that these guys are very fast growers, and so I want to test that out in here and see how fast I can get this one to grow, because I'm pretty sure that this is going to definitely accelerate the growth of a lot of these plants. But this one's very beautiful. It's from Kim's Nature. Yeah, I'm happy to have it, and I'm probably gonna put a moss pole on it soon, but I'm gonna wait for this leaf to come out and then we'll see. I might actually just wait until spring when I repot this guy, but I don't know, if the roots start growing a ton from being in here, I will probably repot this sooner than next spring. So next up on the list here is this Philodendron Snowdrift. This plant is so cool. I shared this with Plants, Pots, and Whatnots. This was part of our trade for the Glorious and the Syngonium Elbow cutting there. But this plant is so beautiful, and it wasn't doing a lot after I cut it, but all of a sudden it put out these two beautiful white leaves with that really beautiful speckling that the snowdrifts do. There's another leaf there, and there are 2 new leaves on the way, which is so exciting. And hopefully they put on a little more size, because those leaves are kind of puny compared to the main leaf, but that's okay. I mean, I cut it up, so I can't ask too much from it. But anyways, when I first got this plant, it had 2 beautiful leaves with another on the way, and then it grew very quickly, and that's why I cut it up so willingly. So I am hopeful that this one will push out lots and lots of new growth. It is nice to see these white leaves though, because when I did have it just growing from the mother plant here, or when it was growing naturally, these guys weren't coming out this white. So I actually give it a little bit less light, and that has caused it to come out completely white like that. I don't know if it's just because I cut it and it's had new opportunities, but I also did give it lower light, so it could be one of the two. All right, moving on. Next up, we'll talk about this Amigrium medium silver. This guy, it never shows up very silver on camera, but I also wanted this guy to root a little bit more, so I have put it in moss and kept it in this tent so that you guys can watch it root. But hopefully this also speeds up the growth, because I have not gotten any new growth on this one, probably because the roots are not super established. I think this is another one that I also gave some root rot, but these guys aren't super duper easy to root. They, I mean, they are, but they don't root very quickly compared to, let's say, Monsteras, pothos, anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I'm hopeful that it's just gonna take off eventually once it has some new juicy roots. Then back here, this is actually not the elbow syngonium I was talking about. This one is my grandma's plant, but it was at my mom's, and I just wanted to take it here. I might actually end up propagating this one and keeping it as a mother plant. We will see. It doesn't have super high variegation, but it is very beautiful, and the newest leaves actually have the most variegation. So hopefully that continues. I don't know if you guys can see. It's hard to get in here, but this stem has a lot of variegation in it. And where's the new leaf? Yeah, this is the newest leaf. And you can see there that the new leaf is going to be quite variegated, so I might propagate the top here with this green leaf, the variegated leaf, and the new leaf once it comes out, and possibly use it in a trade, and then yeah, just let it keep growing, because it would be really nice to have a mother plant of this Syngonium. I have my nice one downstairs that you guys saw in my favorite variegated plants video, but yeah, I thought I'd show you guys this one too. It's fully rooted, it's doing okay, so I'm not concerned about this one at all. I am going to monitor it a little bit longer just for pests. I haven't seen anything on it, but I always want to be careful. Unfortunately, when you have so many plants, it's hard to be careful because you don't always have the room to isolate these plants, but yeah, I've confidently checked it over many times, so I'm just gonna keep taking a look at it to make sure there's nothing up with it. But if I do see any signs of pests, I will not hesitate to grab this guy out of here and treat it. So I'll talk about the first Hoya. This guy here is the Hoya Carnosa Freckles. If you can see, this was from a wonderful subscriber of mine, and she also has her own channel. I will put it up on the screen for you guys so you can go follow her. But she was so sweet. I'll show you the next plant that she also got me. But come on, how beautiful is this? And yeah, it does have some roots, but I'm gonna keep it in here so that it can root a little bit longer. And I really want to see the growth on some of these Hoyas in here, because Hoyas love bright light. So I'm hopeful that this one will also love the bright light that it's getting. So next up here, we have my top wish list Hoya. I am so happy to have this one. This one is also from my dear subscriber. Thank you again so much. This guy is so beautiful. This is its newest leaf. It was imported, so it's a little bit soft, but it's definitely gonna make it. All of these leaves are actually doing quite well. So you can see these beautiful, massive leaves on this plant. This guy is a freaking honker, man. It is so stunning. I cannot believe that I have this plant. I made a wish list Hoya video a while back, and she messaged me saying that she had these, or she was getting them from overseas, and she knew that I wanted it, so she messaged me and said, I'm getting them in. If you want one, I will send you one. I am sending her out some cuttings on Monday. There have been some holidays, so it's been difficult to ship, but I'm going to be sending her out some beautiful cuttings on Monday as a thank you for sending me these beautiful plants. But this leaf size is honestly massive. It's not coming off as big as it is, but this is about the size, maybe even bigger, of a baseball or like a softball. So yeah, that is my Hoya. Those are my two Hoyas that are in here. And I think the last plant that I have in here is my beautiful sport variegated Monstera. It's doing well. This this cut here that I made to stop the melting has definitely stopped the melting, so that is awesome. And it's just about impossible to see, but maybe you'll see that modeling there. The new leaf is definitely variegated, and the variegation is starting to come through very nicely. So I am so excited to see that one harden off completely, but until then, we will wait. I was told from my dear friend Chloe that keeping these guys in higher light will actually create more of a contrast between the light green and dark green on these sport variegated Monsteras. So I'm taking her advice, and I'm keeping this guy in the tent to hopefully get some better growth out of it, or some better variegation. So I'm very excited to have this one in here, and I cannot wait for it to grow up. I'm definitely gonna separate this plant once it's more mature, but for now it's attached to its non-variegated brothers and sisters. Well guys, that is it for the tent. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough. I'm sure next month when I do an update, I will have different plants in here, and I'll tell you what's been working, what's not been working for me. But again, thank you so much to Mars Hydro for sending me this. I don't think I would have been able to get one otherwise, so I really do appreciate it, and I know that my plants appreciate it too, so thank you. Alright guys, that is it from me. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the tour of my grow tent, my Mars Hydro grow tent. If you guys want to see monthly updates of this grow tent, hit that thumbs up button down below so I know that you guys enjoyed this video. Also, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that button down below. We're so close to 5,000 subscribers, which is so crazy. I'm so grateful, but that would really mean the world to me. Also, if you guys want to get a tent or a grow light for yourself from Mars Hydro, you definitely should use my code. It's just Lulu to save some money. I don't make anything off that purchase, but it's a great way for you guys to save some money. So please do that. Save yourself some extra cash. But guys, that is going to be all from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Peace. Bye guys.